so we'll figure that out today. My apologies on that.
What do you do?
Okay. So just a few more minutes on this, and then we will turn the lights back on and keep this train moving forward here. So what we're going to do today is just the working with the line tool, and you'll notice we have a grid here, and if you use your mouse wheel and scroll up or down, this is how we can zoom in and out in our space that we're working with here. You can also hit the Z button for zoom. So again, CAD came out before the mouse was even invented, so theoretically every single thing that we do in this class could actually be done without even touching the mouse. So all of the commands that they've used from the beginning of CAD are still basically functional today. So there's a lot of command stuff, and I encourage you all to learn them because it actually does speed you up quite a bit. Navigating through the menu system can get a bit complex. So by learning the commands and being able to really efficiently input data will dramatically increase how productive you can be. And in the real world, productivity equals dollars. So Z is for zoom, and you'll notice as you begin typing a command, it gives you sort of a list of commands that letter, that begin with that letter. So what's nice about that is if you kind of remember, you can't quite remember what a command was, you can at least remember the first letter. That might be enough to actually get you going. So anyway, I'm just going to hit Z and then hit enter. And now I'm actually giving me options here. So at the bottom of this, there's what we call our command line. And I'm in my zoom command here. And now it's asking me what I would like to do to zoom. So it's giving me a bunch of options. So I could hit A for all, which is going to zoom to everything. W just zooms to the grid that we have in place. That's pretty much all we will use. O would be if you want to zoom to a specific object. Or I can hit enter here for real time. And this is just like using the mouse wheel, but I can zoom in and out this way as well. Okay, then let's say we're zoomed in and I want to move around. There's two different ways of doing that. One is I can hit P for pan. So this activates our pan tool. And now when I click with my mouse, I can move around like so. And we hit escape to get out of a command. I can also hold down my space bar, and that will also activate the command. So it's a little easier to do than actually typing P. Or it takes a little practice, but theoretically you can push down on your mouse wheel. So your mouse wheel, in addition to scrolling up or down, is also a button. So if you very delicately press down on your mouse wheel, that also activates the pan tool. So a number of different ways to skin a cat when it comes to CAD, as they say. All right, so to draw a line, we will be drawing everything in our object layer, which means that the lines that you draw are going to be red, but quite often I will demonstrate on the screen using a different layer just so you can see it, because red sometimes doesn't show up very well on the screen. So if you everyone should have their toolbars kind of laid out the way I do here. If you don't, you can click on Window and click Reset Palettes. You'll need to save your work if you've already started on something, but hitting Reset Palettes will close AutoCAD, open it back up, and then everything should look pretty much the way you see it here. You can also move around these toolbars wherever you want them. And then if you kind of push it all the way up against an edge here, it will actually kind of snap to the edge of your screen. So you want to make sure you don't have tools overlapping. So I usually like to have my layers here at the top. Underneath that is our properties inspector. These are our design aids down here. And then, especially while we're first learning CAD, using this command window is going to come in really handy. So if CAD just is not acting the way you're expecting, often look in this command button here and you'll notice that you're sort of partially through executing a command, and that's why it's giving you some grief. And I like to kind of show a couple lines on here so we can see what's going on. And then here, our toolbar with all of our tools, and we are going to begin today by using the line tool. So again, I can either click on this to activate the line tool, or I can simply hit L for line and hit enter. And now it's asking me to specify my first point. So looking at our first drawing here, it's kind of a sort of complex looking one, so I'm going to zoom in kind of close. And then one other thing we want to do here, so on the bottom is our kind of design aids, this toolbar down here, which nobody can see on my screen, so let me move it up here. So this should be at the bottom of your screen here, but this is a toolbar. It might look more like this. And these are different sort of just design aids to help us draw stuff. So for example, this is our grid display, so I can turn my display on and off. You kind of barely see that. But the one thing we want to work on today is our snap mode. So by doing this, we can actually snap to grid. And you'll notice as I move my mouse around now, it jumps from corner to corner of each little square here. So this is going to make drawing these figures a whole lot easier.
I'm not snapping.
So this is the snap mode, which is kind of to the far. So what this would allow me to do is I can just draw lines, and your line tool, you stay in the line tool for as long as you keep clicking until you finally hit escape to escape out of it. So you notice I'm easily able to draw all these sort of random lines. And another tool that might be useful today is what we call ortho. So we have our snap mode, we have our grid display, which turns our grid on and off, and then right next to that we have our ortho mode. What ortho does is only allows us to draw lines either horizontal or perpendicular. So as I move my mouse around, it's only, let me delete all of these here. So line tool. So as I try to draw diagonal lines again, it's not letting me do that. Instead, I can only draw lines up and down or side to side. So no matter where you try to click to do stuff diagonally, it won't let you do it. If you make a mistake or want to redo something, there's a few different options. You can simply click on a line and then hit delete. If you scroll from left to right, it will only select items that you have completely encompassed. So you'll notice here, I scroll left to right, it's going to select just these two lines because both those two lines were in my entire selection area. Now I'm going to make the same selection area, but this time I'm going to go from right to left, and you'll notice my box is now green instead of blue. What this is going to do is select any item that even touches this. So now it's actually selected all of these lines that even go all the way over here, even though those items weren't inside my box. They just touched it. And then I can delete that way. And if you want to completely start over, a Command A, just like using Microsoft Word or pretty much any Mac or Windows product, is select all, and then you can hit delete to delete all of that. And then saving and submitting. Well, here, let me start. So if I wanted to draw this first little shape here, I'm going to kind of zoom in nice and close. I'm counting my little blocks here, so I see it goes up 2, over 1, I'm going to pan up a little bit, so I click down on my mouse wheel. I'm going to go up 3 over 1 right here. Then this is going to go all the way over 5. And I use my pan tool to pan down a little bit. Down here, over 1. So pretty, kind of like doing a maze here. And then I've started back at the end here, and then I'm just going to hit Enter to finish this command. And that is our first shape there. And the only other tool I'll show you to make life a little easier here is the rectangle tool. So right here in our toolbar it says rectangle, or the command here is rectang. So if I start by REC is just another shortcut for it. So REC for rectangle. And then this does exactly what it says. So I'm going to start by drawing my first box there. And I've finished my rectangle command, so I've exited out of it, and now I want to repeat that same command again. I want to do another rectangle. So whenever you have just finished a command, you can run the exact same command again by hitting Enter. I hit Enter again, and I'm in my rectangle command again. So I'll do my rectangle that's slightly larger than that, hitting Enter again. One more square larger than that. One more square larger than that. And how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total. Like that. So those are the first 2 shapes for assignment A. Okay, last thing to cover is saving and submitting. So we're going to go to File, and we're going to click on Save. And you can call it anything you want. I'm going to call it line A because that's the easiest way to remember it. And you can save it anywhere you want, except this template folder would be a bad place to save it. So I'm just going to put it right on my desktop for now. And then in School Loop, again, everything is submitted in School Loop. I've just got about 30 more seconds on this, and then we will take questions. So we'll go to our let's see if I hit classes. I don't know if this will quite work for me, but when you look at the assignment, somewhere in here you should have something that says submit files or upload files. I don't have it on my screen, but somewhere in this area is where you would submit your files to be grading.